you know, I understand that God gives us all so many different talents and abilities. Don't you know sports is a talent? It's a talent. Yeah, and God gives it to some that he don't give to others, although we try. You ever seen somebody out there on the basketball court? They trying. On the football field, they trying. But those that have the talent, they rise to the top. Because they have that talent that God gave them. The ability that God gave. Not just in sports, but whatever. Some of you are good in certain subjects. Math, science, French. You know, you're able to pick up and adapt. That's simply because God gave you a little extra in that area. Not of yourself, but it's of God. Come on. And when we're able to keep that in focus, to say whatever I am, whatever I have, it's not me, but it's God living and working through me. See, by myself, I'm nothing. By myself, I can do nothing. By myself, I'm worthless. Yes, I am too. I'm worthless. By myself. I got a secret to tell you too. You're worthless too. In your own self. Outside of God, we're all worthless. But when you got God on the inside, your value can't be priced. Ooh. When you got God on the inside, nobody can put a price tag on what you're worth. Because God makes you priceless. God makes you valuable. God makes you viable. Come on, talk to me. But whenever we feel that we're something because of ourselves, we begin to get off track. When you think about what humility is, it's not being proud in a worldly sense. And I know we have this thing about pride and pride being ungodly. And there is a level of pride that is ungodly. When that pride is based within yourself on who you promote yourself to be and on who you built yourself up to be, that pride is ungodly pride. It's unhealthy pride. It's pride that won't get you to that next level. But when your pride is based on the fact of who I am in God, who I am because of God, who I am with God, that kind of pride will enable you to stand. It will enable you to conduct yourself in such a manner that's pleasing unto God. It will allow you to conduct yourself in a way that keeps your standard high. When you have pride in who you are, when you have pride in your work, when you have pride in whatever the job that you have to do, if you have pride, you're not going to do it any kind of way. You're not going to just try and do it to say it's got done. You know, some of us work just enough to say, I did it. We work just enough so mama won't get mad. I can say I did vacuum the floor. Although I missed most of it, I will not be lying when I say I vacuum the floor. But when you take pride in what you do, you're going to make sure you get the corners. And you even go get the broom. Because you know the vacuum don't get in some corners. Some of y'all didn't know that. Why didn't y'all know that? I don't the kind of pride we should have. But not the kind of pride that makes us think we're better than somebody else. Come on. Not that kind of arrogance that makes us feel that we're above somebody else. And whenever you're truly humble, it comes out in your action. It comes out in the way you deal with people. You can say you're humble all day, but if your actions don't show, you just saying some stuff. But your actions will show if you're not arrogant, if you don't think less of others. And when we think about pride and humility, humility is not degrading yourself. It's not putting yourself on a low level of worth or low level of value, nor is it putting yourself on some kind of pedestal. But what humility does, it seeks out others first. Humility does not magnify itself. Humility don't magnify its abilities and its talents. You know, some of us, we don't even allow other folk to talk about us because we're so busy talking about ourselves. We don't allow other people to pat us on the back and to say we're good because we're too busy patting our own self on the back. Telling our own self, if you're good, you don't have to tell nobody. If you got an ability at something, you ain't got to say nothing to nobody. But they gonna notice it. Come on. They gonna notice it. You ain't got to try and sell yourself. You ain't got to try to be something. Just be who God made you. And if you are who God made you, God got a way of lifting you up. The Bible tells us that your gift will make room for you. That's what the Bible says. He says your gift, whatever it is you've been gifted with, whatever talent you have, will make room for you. And what will it do? It will set you before great people. Meaning what? Your ability, your talent will get you in the right place. You don't have to campaign against nobody. You don't have to tear nobody down. You don't have to walk over nobody. But if it's in you, oh, somebody gonna see it. If it's in you, somebody gonna notice it. You just got to be who you are. Somebody say, be who you are. Be who you are. And be the best you can be at being who you are. Don't try to be like nobody else. And I'm not trying to say we shouldn't aspire if we see somebody we admire. If we see somebody that's doing something that's good. And I'm not saying you shouldn't admire them and say, Lord, I like that model. Maybe one day I can be like that. But until I get there, I'm going to be happy being me. Oh, I'm going to be happy being who I am. I'm going to be content being who I am. And I'm going to be the best me I can be. Thank you, son. He's helping me. Yeah. But when we allow ourselves to get bloated in our minds, to think we know it all. You know any know-it-alls? Huh? Y'all know some know-it-alls? I might be talking to a few know-it-alls. I don't know. I ain't saying no names or nothing, you know. It could be. And sometimes, like a message like this, we'll be thinking about somebody else right now. Like when I said, do you know a know-it-all? Some of your minds immediately went and started thinking about people. Yep. I wish she was here because she needs to hear this. I wish he was here because he showed him. He's sure talking about him. And you know, I find that usually that person that's thinking about other folks, that might be the one I'm talking to. We've got to be careful that we examine We apply the word to others before we apply it to ourselves. But whenever the word comes, and that's to me too, you got to apply that word to yourself. You got to see, where do I find myself in this word? Am I puffed up? Can people tell me anything? Do I listen to other people? Or is my mind already made up? Is my opinion already formed, and no matter what you say, I won't be swayed? No matter what you say, you can present all the facts you want to present. But because I feel and because I think I know, I'm already settled. You've got to be careful. But when we're humble, humility does something for us that fighting can't do. Humility does something for us that tugging and debating and campaigning and warring can't do. When you become humble, you set yourself in a position where you're allowing God to do the rest. When you're humble, you're putting yourself in a position where God is going to take care of you, where God is going to fight for you, where God is going to be the one to lift you up. In our verses today, it started off where the disciples was trying to figure out who's going to be the greatest on the other side. They were talking to Jesus, and they were saying, Jesus, when we get over there, who's going to have the greatest rank? Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to have the authority? That's what they wanted to know. And it goes to show us how our focus can be so off. Listen, the last thing I'm concerned about when I get to heaven is being in charge of something. Last thing I'm trying to figure out is what the ranking system is